like you to join me today for a little walk down the beach. And I'd like to share with you some of my thoughts about music, society, and especially music that I enjoy, modern art music. And I'd like to explain to you what that is. Ever since I was a child, music's been pouring out of me. I don't know where it came from, it just did, and I accepted it. And now I enjoy writing music and sharing my music with my students here at Xavier. As part of my journey, I've done a lot of thinking about what is modern art music and how does it relate to society? Why is it important? Let's start with the idea of what does it mean to live in the present? What is modern? I would like to first start talking with you about the 19th century, and here's a beautiful picture of, you know, downtown Music Hall. And this is one of the oldest buildings for the performing arts in the United States. And when it was built, it was a modern mecca for music. It brought the Cincinnati May Festival here, one of the first regional choral festivals in the United States. Let's think about what Ralph Waldo Emerson had to say about the present at that time. Read with me. Man cannot be happy and strong until he too lives with nature in the present, above time. That was the 19th century, being in the present. 20th century, Union Terminal, famous building in the Western Hemisphere. Beautiful place. Xavier students perform there in the atrium. It's gorgeous sound and a phenomenal place to visit. Henry Ford, at that time, for the 20th century, said, "The only history that's worth a tinker's dam is the history we make today." Another sense of the modern, the 21st century. You've seen it, right? The two new buildings that are in Cincinnati. Our skyline is now a completely new skyline, and with the addition of Northern Kentucky there, the Ascent. Eckhart Tolle, a modern-day thinker, informs us, accept the present moment and find the perfection that is deeper than any form and untouched by time. Each of these have lived in the present. Each of these have emphasized being in the modern is what's important. I'd like to now talk about what does it mean? What am I talking about, modern art music? I have three pictures here. First, we see the hands touching. Music is sensual. Music reaches out and touches you in your ear, on your skin, just like a human being. It's a sensation. Music is intellectual. What we see here is an MRI machine, and experimenters and scientists tell us now that when we look at our brain, and we have the right and the left hemisphere, and we listen to music, and we listen actively, guess what happens to you? Your brain lights up on both sides, and it's crossing all kinds of places. If you try to speak in a foreign language, you go to just the foreign language spot. If you try to do a math problem, you go just to the math spot. But when it's music, you're going all over the place. That's why studies show that with children, when we, and you as adults and myself, when we listen to music, we are becoming smarter. Now, I'm talking about active music listening. I'm talking about standing in the shower and somebody outside is saying, "Whoa, what's going on?" Where you are truly engaged. Yes, music goes that deep into your spirit. And lastly, music is of the spirit. Music reaches something in us we can't explain. It's in the soul. It combines sensual as it comes in, it goes through the mind and deep into our internal spirit. All of these ideas are how we perceive music. I'm not defining music as some theoretical, mathematical basis. I'm talking about it from the point of view of myself and you. So, in summary, we see how it works. Sensual, intellectual, spiritual. But look, there's a part there that says fusion on the sides. And we all know there's many, many types of music. From fantastic popular music artists to classical music artists to avant-garde musical artists to great music for films to liturgical music. And I could go on, and you could add, and we could have a list that ran from the front of the hall to the back of the hall. And these are all fusions. But I want to say that modern art music is a special kind of music that can be in any one of these areas if it combines the sensual, the intellectual, and the spiritual. That this is a special kind of music, that each of us as individuals will decide what it is when it speaks to us in that way. And we can all think of music, and I'm not going to name composers, I'm not going to do that today, but we can all think of music that maybe isn't quite as moving, and other music that somehow captures us. Modern art music, but modern, done in our time, present, like Emerson said, present, like Ford said, present, like Tolley said. So, how shall we live? With ideas from the past or with ideas from the present? Let's think about that for a minute. Okay, so here's two students from the present. I feel comfortable with that. I've worked with that before. That's today. The phone, the hair, everything. Oh, that's music from the past, right? That's what Bach would have worn. And he did wear a sword, by the way. He got in trouble. He pulled it on a student once who wasn't playing the instrument right, and he got reprimanded for it. I think sometimes I should have a sword. And anyway, Mozart, yes, that was his costume. So that's how they dressed. But, you know, when we listen to that music, are we in the past? What's going on here? Oh, music, yes. Medicine today, fantastic new things for this child that can't hear well. We are able to help people hear and speak, and magnificent things we can do with implants and hearing aids for people. Yeah, I like music today. I like things today. Oh, Beethoven, yeah, he had a problem. He went deaf. Yeah, that's right. He wrote the last two symphonies, and he couldn't hear them at all, and those were the ear trumpets he had, and they didn't work worth a tinker's dam, to borrow somebody else's phrase. Today, yeah, music. Transportation today, yeah, this is a solar airplane. In a year and a half or 2 years, we're going to see the first trans-world solar airplane flight. Fascinating new idea coming, where no energy except that from the sun is involved. It's right around the corner. I'm trying to juxtapose the past and the present. And I'm asking the question, how do we want to live? And especially, how do we want to live with music? Yeah, Chopin, if you know that name. Great pianist, probably the most performed piano music in the world. That was his stagecoach of the past. I'm going to switch now, and I'm coming to the crux of what I'm trying to share with you today. I did a study of the programs of the Cincinnati Symphony Orchestra, and this is from 1895 to 2013, the same span as I presented in the original slides. And I wanted to figure out what was the average age, what was the average experience of a listener going to those concerts? What were they being exposed to? And so I developed a Modernity Index. How modern was the music? And I looked at the number of minutes spent on modern art music, music in their times. And I looked at trends over time. Okay, so first result. I know from my studies in history as a musician, from antiquity all the way up to the 19th century, people were listening in the now. Whatever music it was, whatever kind, they were listening to music composed within the last 70 years. That's a living lifespan. Music was current. It was a type of currency, if you will. Then, you come to 1895. Bear with me for a minute as you look at this chart. You see the tallest blue bar? That's music composed within the last 30 years, that is, of 1895. They played mostly music of the last 30 years. And then all the other blue lines are less. Next lesson. The 20th and 21st centuries, the focus is on listening backwards. What happened? Well, let's look at a graph of that. Ooh. The blue lines are in the middle. The tall ones. That means if you look at one of those black numbers at the bottom, look at 121 to 150 or 211 to 240, those tall bars, the music experience for the listener was of the past. They were not in their time. They were not doing what Ford said. They were not doing what Ralph Waldo Emerson said. They were not doing what Tolley says. How does this balance out? Another result, the average age of the music that you hear when you go to a symphony orchestra concert today in the United States, in most houses, is about 200 years old. Likewise in Europe, likewise in Japan, likewise in Korea, places where serious art music is performed. Now, here's the last graph, and I'll tease you with, so bear with me. What you see here is on the one side, over here on the far side, you see from 0 down to 300. That's the age of the music going down. The green line across the top, if there were any dots up there, would be how modern the music is. So this blue line that zigzags down, as it walks forward in time, shows how the music just gets older and older and older. In fact, we're just going back in time and kind of just listening backwards and backwards. So that's the empirical data. Last one. Well, how much of the music is really modern that we listen to today? I say it's barely audible. In 1917, 30% of the music that was performed was by living composers. 2008, 4%. I think I'm kind of gone. I'm not sure I'm here anymore. There's an old lock. Would you use that in 2013? You want to secure your building with that? Here's a lock of 2013. Thumbprint required. Key required. Passcode required. Boy, that's a good lock. The connection between the key and modern music is this. Modern art music is an aesthetic key that unlocks the modern world. And it unlocks it in a special way. An aesthetic key takes you into the beauty of the modern world. Beauty, truth, those abstract qualities we can't express, but we would never give up. It takes you into taste, it takes you into style. So an aesthetic key is necessary to be in sync with your current times. You get the connection? Listen to current music, be in connection with current times. What kind of music to listen to? Modern art music. What is modern art music? Sensual, spiritual, intellectual. Who decides what that is? You do. Other takeaway. Modern art music engages the listener in aesthetic dialogues about the now. So you are concerned with beauty. And that's what I was just referring to. Okay, so it's a key, it's necessary, it's unique, and you need it to create your modern world. Whoops, got the wrong key. That's what we're doing. We're playing the old music, we haven't got the right key. What does this result in? Social stasis. Sound familiar? Two houses of Congress that can't talk to each other? Yeah, something aesthetically is not in sync in society. Music is not the only solution, no. It's a part of the solution. It's an attitude, it's an approach to life. It's a bigger level thinking. That's what arts represents in so many different ways. You become unable to address your current needs unless you're in your current times, and here's the key word, aesthetically. Okay, modern art music needs a habitat. So let's talk about a solution. I like to walk on the beach, Assateague Island, if you've ever been there on the East Coast. And it's a place, we need a place to create, to hear, and to live with music of our own time. So we can be in our time. If we focus on history at the expense of the now, I'm not negating the value of history. I'm saying if history supersedes the now, humans are inattentive to the endangered sea turtle's habitat. Status quo will cause extinction. History doesn't serve the sea turtle well. History says, string the nets, baby. Modern art music could become endangered. It could become lost from society. So what can we do? Last caution, listening backwards like driving a car. Dangerous, dangerous, dangerous. I always told my children, eyes forward, a few times in the mirrors, eyes forward. This is the analogy for us understanding aesthetics and applying them to the world today. So arts organizations should gradually shift back to a normal distribution with their performed works oriented into the present. Looks like this, so that most of the music is in the modern. That's what we want, most of the music in the modern here. And then sufficient historical perspective. Absolutely, I'd never give up Beethoven. But how much? That's the question. And what focus? So let us open our ears to a new, verdant and bold music that speaks to our times, that's sensual, intellectual, and spiritual. Let us accept modern art music as part of the now, and hear the unique contribution it will share with society. Use your fingerprint to unlock that door. Let it be unique to you. And finally, let us give it a space to be the vital knowledge and inspiration and imagination it is, the key part of the subconscious of our societies. I've always thought as a composer that I'm looking at society, and I hold up a mirror to you. And when I see you, you come back at me a little different than maybe a photograph. And I create that in the music. And I don't know where it comes from or how it comes from any place. And I share that back with you. And when you experience that, you have the opportunity to say, gee, is that what's going on? What do I think about that? It's not my idea. It's actually your idea. You are the listeners. And then you take that into your modern world and make it something. That's the gift that modern art music, and in a sense, the modern arts, give to society. Society needs modern art music. The sensual, the intellectual, the spiritual. The next time you listen to a piece of music, go into it, touch it, feel it, think about it, and experience it. Thanks very much for listening. Have a great day.